on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have a PU match. This one is against Gourav from Twitter, and I decided to kind of just throw together some fun stuff that I wanted to use. PU is one of those tiers where you can literally get away with using pretty much anything. So I got some, some pretty interesting stuff on my team working with the Dugong. I have the old school Eradicate from back in Gen 4 days, and I also have this Rampardos, which is extremely powerful to be in PU, but looking at his team, I'm afraid of the Zebstrika. Those things always are a threat in PU. He's got the Stoutland, which also could be a problem, Ursaring, all that fun stuff. So let's just go ahead and hop into it. So from looking at the team preview, I wasn't really sure what he wanted to lead off with, so I was like, my safest bet is probably just to go with Carbink. As he ends up leading off with the Zebstrika, I expect him to probably just want to go for the Volt Switch and get a better matchup, but he actually just goes straight for the Thunderbolts, which is not the best for me, considering I am like a physically defensive Carbink, but I take that relatively nicely, so it's fine. But I get up my Stealth Rocks on the first turn, which is nice. It's going to be pretty helpful as he hits me with another T-Bolts, and that allows me to get up a Light Screen, which will make it so I will be able to take at least one more of these, and I decide to kind of let Carbink bite the dust here a little bit. I get paralyzed on the next T-Bolt, which is annoying, but I go for the Reflect. So now I got both of my screens up, and we're looking pretty good. Honestly, I decided to leave Carbink in here because essentially my only special defense wall is my Dugong, and obviously does not want to be taking T-Bolts from a Zebra. So yeah, he decides to now switch into his Drifblim as I actually get fully paralyzed. I was just going to go for a Moonblast and kind of sack this thing off, as he actually ends up switching back out again into the Stoutland. So that was kind of interesting. He decided to go into the Drifblim. Next turn, I don't know if he was trying to bait a switch or something like that, but he goes into Stoutland. Gonna get the Intimidate, as I actually decide to switch on that first matchup as well into my Dugong, because I figured Dugong was a decent matchup against Drifblim, but now I'm out here against this fucking weird-ass dog with a huge mustache thing, so I have to get the hell out of there. And I decided to bring in my own Drifblim here, as I was expecting him to probably just want to go for a return, but he hits me with a Thunder Wave. And, that's not that good, because this Drifblim kind of relies on speed a little bit after it gets unburdened, and fun stuff like that. But now he's just going to go right back into the Zebstrika, as I believe I go for the Will-O-Wisp. But, of course, I get fully paralyzed. So that's, not that big of a deal, because the Zebstrika probably wouldn't have cared a whole lot. But he's just going to now go for the Volt Switch, as that does a little bit less than half. And that's actually super annoying, because I was kind of hoping it was going to do a little bit more. That way I would be able to get rid of my Citrus Berry, and then be able to have full power acrobatics and stuff like that. But I get paralyzed 2 times in a row now, which actually is a bummer, because I did click Acrobatics that turn, expecting him to go for the Volt Switch, and then Acrobatics would have been able to do a decent amount of damage to whatever he sent in, but, it turns out he went into the freaking Dustox, so that would have been ideal, and now this thing is dancing all over the place, as I actually just go for the Will-O-Wisp. I'm not really sure why. I probably should have just gone for the Acrobatics, but I didn't really feel like it was going to do a whole lot of damage. I don't know, I kind of just want to continual build up on this thing, but yeah, so my Light Screen wears off, which is pretty damn unfortunate, as now he's just going to dance again, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, you know what, I will be damned if I'm going to sit here and get swept by a fucking moth. Honestly, if you get swept by a Dustox, you're kind of a failure, but yeah, so I go for the Acrobatics. Even still having my item, it does a decent amount of damage, but unfortunately that freaking Light Screen is gone now, so he's going to be able to take out Drifblim if he wants to, so yeah, both of my screens are now away, and honestly, Carbink kind of, lost all his health for nothing, so I was like, what, screw it, I'm just going to go back into Carbink here, let him kill me, but he actually just ends up going for the Roost, which is really unfortunate for me, and now it's looking like, oh shit, if I get swept by a Dustox, I will quit Pokemon forever. Molly the Moth is not going to fuck me up today, so I initially sent in Carbink just to kind of take an attack and die, that way I could get a nice little revenge switch on whatever, had a better matchup against Dustox. But fortunately for me at least, he's going to Roost again, and that allows me to get up a free Light Screen. So even though this thing has like 3 Quiver Dances at this point, I'm really not afraid of it, because I got that Light Screen with the Light Clay item is going to make it last for a decent amount of time. So here I decide to switch into my Rampardos. With the Light Screen up, I know I'll be able to take any attack this thing wants to throw at me, as he actually just ends up going for another Quiver Dance. So in my opinion, he probably should have knocked out Carbink before I was able to get a Light Screen up, because that really kind of saved my ass here. With the Light Screen, I really don't have to be afraid of this thing. It's not the most threatening Pokemon in general, but with the Light Screen up, this thing could have +6, and I don't really care. So he goes for the Bug Buzz, and that's not even going to be able to do half, so that is pretty damn amazing, and that allows me to go for an Earthquake. And I didn't really want to lock myself into Head Smash, just because missing in a situation like this would be pretty shitty, and I thought he was actually going to be able to have a 2-hit KO against me, but not the case. He's actually just going to stay in and go for one more Bug Buzz, as Rampardos is like, ouch, that kind of itches a little bit, but one more Earthquake is going to finish off the Moth there. So I didn't get swept by a Dustox, and I call that a damn success. I'm pretty stoked that I was able to keep Rampardos around because I am Choice Scarf and faster than pretty much everything on his team, so I'll still come in handy later to be able to head smash some bitches. So yeah, he decides to bring in the Drifblim, as now I'm like, you know what, okay, I'm bringing in Carbink. There's nothing this Drifblim would be able to do other than just kill me, so I let him go for the Phantom Force, as he's now going to get fully charged from his Power Herb or whatever. And down goes the Carbink, but honestly, I'm completely fine with him using his Power Herb on Carbink because I consider that thing like dead at the beginning of the match. So yeah, now this allows me to bring in my Dugong, as he's actually just going to stay in, which was kind of interesting as he goes for the Acrobatics. And like I said earlier, I'm especially defensive Dugong, so I decided to go for the Toxic here. I probably should have just gone for Ice Beam, but I kind of expected him to switch. But at this point, what this Dugong does is it Toxic Stalls stuff, and then Ice Beams things, and then Surf stuff. And honestly, Dugong would be way better if it could get Scalds, but I mean, obviously, it makes sense. It's a freaking Ice type, so not gonna happen. But he goes for the knockoff there, which is kind of unfortunate. But I'm able to go for an Ice Beam, and down goes the Drifblim to a critical hit, which I don't think mattered. So Dugong got a kill, so that's that's a fucking success in my book. I love using Dugong, so it's cool to see this thing like do stuff. So now he brings back out the damn Electric Zebra, and I decided to just go for a Protect because I expect this thing to probably be Choice Specs. If it's I don't think I saw Life Orb earlier, so I expect it to be Specs. So yeah, the Protect was just to kind of scout out what he was going to lock himself into, and I have to let Dugong take a Thunderbolt here because I really just do not have anything that wants to switch into that. So down goes Dugong, but you did good. You did good. So this allows me to bring in Scarf Rampardos, which is my main counter to this Zebstrika at this point. It's really the only thing I have to take care of this thing. So I kind of have to be pretty careful with Rampardos here, as he's going to switch into his Stoutland as I expected. He's going to get the Intimidate, and then Earthquake's not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage, so that is that's a bummer. I should have gone for the Head Smash just to get a little bit more damage, but honestly, it doesn't really matter because he's going to open up his damn Citrus Berry anyway, eating on the fucking battlefield. And yeah, so I have to switch Rampardos out. I know that this thing is way too valuable to lose at this point, as I'm now going to switch into Cool Whip as he goes for the return, so I get a free switch in there, and that's pretty cool, as I expect him to probably want to switch out here, fearing the Will-O-Wisp. He's just going to go right back into the Zebstrika, and he can take a little more Stealth Rock damage and all that fun stuff, as I do go for the Will-O-Wisp, and unfortunately I miss, so that's pretty shitty. I probably should have gone for a knockoff or something like that, but I have to at this point let him just take out Drifblim with another Thunderbolt, and freaking Zebstrika is just putting in work at this point. But have no fear, I still have joined through Raticate. So I know that Raticate can take at least one Thunderbolt, so I decide to stay in here, and I actually live it with 10 HP. I really probably should have gone for the, that's actually a misplay. I really should have gone for the Protect for his turn, and then been able to hit this thing with a Facade. I don't know what I was really thinking there, honestly, but I still do have Triangle. At least I knocked him down enough to the point where a Hidden Power Grass is able to finish him off, but had that thing lived that Hidden Power Grass, that would have been a really bad misplay on my end with the Raticate. So honestly, him having the Zebstrika around for the whole match was really annoying because it made it so I was really reluctant to use Electrode, considering he could just switch it into an electric attack and all that stuff. I mean, it could be Sap Sipper, but usually they are, I think it's Motor Drive. So yeah, that's kind of annoying. I probably should be using Zebstrika on my team rather than Electrode anyway, but yeah, so he brings in the Blossom, and honestly, I just really do not have any plays at this point. He's able to finish me off with a Giga Drain, and at this point, all I can do is bring in Joint the Raticate here, so I'm going to go for the Protect, actually, because I really expected him to stay in and probably just go for a Giga Drain, but he's actually just going to switch into the Stoutland, which makes a lot of sense. He's going to get the Intimidates, and at least I'm able to get my burn for at least one turn, and Raticate is actually a powerful motherfucker. This thing it doesn't have the speed that allows it to do very well, but it can really do a whole lot of damage. So he goes for the Baby's All Eyes. Check this out. I'm at -2 attack, one from the Intimidate, one from the Baby Doll Eyes. Yeah, the Baby Doll Eyes, and Facade almost still takes this thing out, which is pretty damn awesome. And I'm disappointed, Raticate. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to use you more because I fucking love using that thing. it can do work, trust me. But yeah, so at this point, all I can do is bring in the Electrode. I can finish off the Stoutland, but unfortunately, he does still have the Ursaring at the back of his team. So he's gonna bring out the Ursaring, and all I can hope for at this point is a critical hit, because all he has left is Ursaring and the Blossom, and if I'm able to take out the damn bear, I have a chance. But yeah, so he's gonna protect himself. He's gonna get his toxic, whatever, his freaking toxic orb's gonna give him his quick feats. I do still outspeed this thing. I'm able to get off a T-Bolt, and unfortunately I do not get the critical hit, and he's gonna be able to finish me off with a Facade. But I do get the Aftermath, so that's actually gonna take out the Ursaring, and unfortunately he does have the Blossom left. Aftermath is actually a pretty cool ability because it can, in a lot of cases, results in draws, which can be pretty damn interesting. I was kind of hoping he was going to switch into Blossom rather than the Ursaring on that last play, but Unfortunately, he's going to take the match 1-0, but that was a pretty interesting one. I was really hoping for a draw, but I just think those are really cool to watch. But still a good match nonetheless. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.